You are most welcome to the Investigator TV Sports. Kuluno telling the sports is a Tolokola. This is a special edition of Sports One, the Investigator TV. Daniel Zinabong Tati, the Prince of Journalism, the man from the mineral rich Soga. Za tudeo okutambuza. Stambudenze ka. The other side, on my far left, is a big man in local sports here in Uganda. He is the president, Uganda Rugby Union. Next to me here is the man himself, Jakwe Anjula. Yes. Yes. Okay, so we are going to talk rugby exclusively, development, future plans, era tuliwa olwalero. Twakavamu 2 big tournaments, I think. That was the Rugby Africa Cup, and then qualifiers is qualification year World Cup next year. I think I'm right. Kale nja kusokerewa bwana president obuzeko ku batulaba wankuda Investigator TV.
Kale, thank you very much webalenyo, and to the viewers mbalamusiza. And I'm very humbled and excited to be here for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, my name's Godwin Kayangwe. I'm the president of Uganda Rugby Union. And yes, basically I handle the stewardship, the development, the custodianship of the game in the whole of Uganda.
You're welcome, sir. Bwana Mpanga.
I am just a very good supporter of rugby.
You're welcome then.
And a good supporter of a very competent president.
Nakola was following events from Kulonda to everything. Wajja wanonga ejem ya kagwa notunyumiza anti president gwe tuli nayo yagenda okutwala okuvuga eryato eryokulakulanya rugby to the next world. You're welcome, Mr. Mpanga.
Actually speaking, I'm not the spokesperson of the president, but I'm one ardent fan and supporter of Ugandan rugby growing. Rugby at large, you've seen grassroots rugby growing as we speak right now in our country today. You've seen the Uganda Rugby Sevens excelling everywhere from Ghana, Mauritius. The Rippers, they did not do very well, but there is a lot of improvement in the game. As you can see, they just concluded Rugby Africa. They hosted even the president we hosted the president of Rugby Africa and very many presidents of other associations of the 8 nations that were hosted here. Actually, the president can give you the best insight about what he thinks he's going to do for rugby in Uganda in the very next coming year, because we will be having World Cup qualifiers next year.
Okay.
So we are still on track. He can give us his track record.
Kale tuyanziza nainge yote tunagenda mu the technicalities of rugby here and there. Omulabi wa Investigator TV yali agadde okumanya ti being a president of a sport olina okubanga tovudde from somewhere, tovudde from the blue to become a president. Omulabi wa Investigator TV yali agadde okumanya President Godwin Kayangwe to the sport of rugby yani yavawa. Is he a former player, a former manager, a former coach, several president?
Kale, yeah, rugby namutandika nga nkyali mwana muto.
Okay.
Nali Buddo, King's College Buddo, senior 1. 1993 natandika okuyiga omuzannyo gwa rugby. Ebiseera ebyo teyali munene nnyo. There were only 3 schools, na Miryango, Kisubi ne Buddo abali bazanya rugby. Kati nga tuzanya clubs zaali 5, waliwo Cobs, Rhinos, Nile, Heathens ne ANC eya South Africa upside. Bawe basirikale bali wano mu training na team bazanya mu league yali Super 8, but by 1995 it was not possible kubanga it was not safe abaana abato kubanga bazanya nchi
rugby
clubs against clubs. So league nekoma mu 1995 ne batandikawo schools league. Kati fa abamu abali bagwizo already waliwo clubs ze twazanyiranga mu holiday so kati waliwo club empya yatandikawo gye bayita Pirates ekyaliwo ya Kings Park Arena kati eyo gye najoyininga nga mu holiday nzanyira eyo during school nga nzanyira essomero. So my journey from rugby started those days.
31 years ago.
Yeah. Kati nenzija ngenda nenva mu nsi ngenda kukola 2003. And that is when I stopped playing actively. Nakomawo mu 2009. Nengezaako okuzanya naye nga omuzanyo gutambudde abaana abato balina amaanyi batuyiseeko. So nensalawo kuba manager. Nembula manager wa timu yange eyo gye nazanyira Pirates. So from Pirates nemmera manager wa Namboole franchise is better yali Kenya, Uganda, different teams. Then national team manager. National team manager nga coach Kasasa yali coach by that time. From team manager nengenda mu leadership, committee member, secretary up to president. So mbaddewo nnyo.
Okay.
Mbaddewo nnyo. Yeah.
So you've actually seen rugby evolve from a schools league to club rugby and eventually national rugby.
And you see, even in the schools league now, the under 15, under 14, under 17, under 19, they cannot play together. The game has developed so much that it is unsafe for a 19-year-old to play against a 14-year-old. So not only from schools to even in the school itself, underage, what we call age grade rugby, there is 3 categories: under 14, under 17, under 19, which World Rugby now calls under 20. So they've increased it to 20. Yeah.
Waliwo kyemuyita tag rugby.
Yeah.
What is that?
Tag rugby yali project targeting kusomesa abaana abato rugby. Manga tag rugby teriimu kwekuba. You know? Bakozesa ka tag. Bakaita ka tag. Teka wano ku mpale. Kati oli wakakujjako, that is you stop play. Naye takirizibwa
kutakolinga.
Yeah, so basically target yali baana abato kuyiga rugby. Webakula balyoke bayingire mu ki? Mu rugby wa contact sport, united contact. Naye ate naye akuze nti kati wobulitayaringa kati ngafa abalitayarinze. Era kati tag rugby abakola ki? Gwe tuddamu kyomulaba kati ali worldwide balina ne World Cup ya tag rugby. But the target was introduction of the game to the underage.
And people to know how to play.
Bwana Mpanga. Kinkoze bulungi owerekeddeko president. Era ndowooza nja kubuuzaayo na bimu ku bibuuzo from the fan side of rugby. Today tulaba rugby alina abawagizi bangi, alina ki?
Rugby has grown even in numbers. I'll give just on the recent competition. You know, Namboole in the outside pitch can seat of almost slightly above 15,000 people. But at least on each rugby day that was there, it had over 10,000 people. Even Wednesday in midweek, there were at least 8,000 to 10,000 people, which is showing you that roughly on all the days that rugby was played, rugby had spectators of over 50,000 in the country. That is a huge, huge number. You see, rugby is chasing football in numbers of supporters. And very soon, rugby is going to outsmart and outplay because it's managed very well. So, with the good management, expect the numbers. With good people on board like Now Special, expect the numbers. That is it. And the game is growing so fast.
Okay, President, as a journalist, I've followed rugby for the last, I think, 10 years. That's close to a decade. Ndaba rugby, waliwo time yatuuka nga national team eri at its best. Nga ba Zimbabwe bonna bajjawo ntulwakuba Kenya wakubadde waliwo akalike akasigalayo nti bakyeyita our big brothers in the game. Naye ng'era bwe bajja sometimes we suppress their efforts ne tubakuba. Today, if you compare the generations 10 years back and today, how has rugby evolved in the country?
That is a very big question. I don't know where to start from. Nenga in season that is it today. At least the rugby loving nations are also working hard. So comparing 10 years ago to now, it is an assumption that the other countries have also stopped working.
I know.
Yeah, I think the question should be, what have we done to improve or maintain where we were 10 years ago? And how was rugby that time? You get it? Yeah. Zimbabwe has always been a powerhouse. If you see, Zimbabwe has already gone to the World Cup twice.
1987 and 61?
Yeah. Uganda has not. Namibia has gone to the World Cup, the last four World Cups. Kenya and Uganda, we are still trying to knock on that door.
Okay.
You get it? But so many things affect economics, politics, the situation in the country, other factors, not only us within the sports, you know, they affect a lot. When you see what our people are going through, our neighbors, but because they had done a lot of investment in development, their team is still performing well, but they have quite a very unstable environment right now, our Kenyan brothers. But because of their other investment, they are now
stable a little bit.
I mean, the performance they put out is good enough.
Okay.
It is riding on what the seed they saw a while ago. I will not want to say that we did not sow the right seed. It was the environment at the moment and what they had to work with that made whoever our predecessors were do what they could do. At least I can be sure to say we found rugby there. So meaning people who are there also did a lot, and we are moving on top of that. Just to give you perspective, if you look at the sevens team, which is a recent Africa champion in Mauritius, and also all Africa games in Uganda, in the same year we won the championship twice. But that is not work that started this year. It's a program that has been followed over time.
Over time.
You get it? Some saying that Katonda tali anguzi.
Shielding fruit.
So when someone beats you, you need to work out and say, why have I lost?
Exactly.
What is not right? That person has beaten you not by luck. If you see the game of rugby, it has no luck. There is no chance. It's not a lottery. I am coming.
Banga, you ready?
I'm coming to you with the ball. Your job is put me down.
Exactly.
If you fail, I pass. It is simple like that. So when they beat you, even if by 2 points, you need to work backwards and say, why were we lost? There is not much fixing in rugby. At least if it is there, it is something that has not come to my attention. I don't know. But you don't see it because a 50-50 call is a 50-50 call. You cannot complain too much about the ref. There are over 30 laws is applying in every breakdown. When someone is knocked down, there are about 7-8 laws that the ref has to apply immediately. So the person on the outside may not see, but the technical people should be able to see.
Okay.
Yeah. The late president Amini said that the only way to beat
is to knock the other person down.
Is knock them out. It applies for rugby. You can never complain about the ref. Be prepared to beat the opponent into submission, and the ref has nothing to do. You see. So yes, in terms of what has happened, a few years ago Zimbabwe used to either beat us or we beat them. It is still the same level. If you see the game we played them recently, 22-20, you cannot say that they are better than us because we lost by 2 points. Kenya, there's a period it used to beat us to extend that they started sending us team B, second team or third team. But they cannot risk that now. They have to send us the best. Even if they have exports wherever they want, they have to call them back to play Uganda. That shows that at the level we're at, we are not winning, but we are not undermined. So now as technical and the operations, we need to tweak that and say, now how do we turn it into winning? We've done that with the sevens team. Both men and women. But men are a little bit ahead. Now we are confident that if the sevens team is going for a tournament, we can come out.
Unless you're sure of the result.
Yes. We are sure that they will compete, not participate. Because there are tournaments you go in knowing you're going to lose all the games. But that is not it for our sevens team. Our sevens team, will compete, whether they are meeting New Zealand, Australia, Fiji, South Africa, whichever team they are there. Now the 15th program, because financially we could not work alongside the sevens at the same time. We shall talk about finances, I think. We had to first prioritize sevens program.
Oh, okay.
So now the sevens program is there, self-sustainable to a certain extent. Now we embark on the 15th program. The 15th code of the game is the actual original rugby. The sevens code is
These are just subsidiary.
Yes, more becoming more popular. The same thing World Rugby is using it as a commercial tool is what we did in Uganda as a strategy, to use the sevens code as a commercial tool so that people know rugby. Before, people did not know rugby.
Before we are playing
So now
aside.
most people know rugby as sevens. Now the 115s is the actual rugby. So any rugby lover, his passion is here.
15.
But we needed to first popularize the other one so that the word rugby is known to the public and the leaders. Then we can start increasing our fund and our base, fan base, so that we can attract more funds in and invest in our game, which is 15th rugby.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll throw this question to both of you. Going into this tournament that we just had last week. Yes, Rugby Africa. We had two missions. One, to win it because we were the hosts. Two was to qualify to the rugby qualifiers next year. Are you gentlemen satisfied with the results? Given the fact that we had a very good training, we were very good, we were very facilitated, we had our sponsor there, and you gave the guys the morale that they wanted in the camp. Are you guys satisfied with the results?
I'll speak first. The first game, I was not really impressed, but I was not surprised. Our first half was not good. Our second half turned out different. We lost by 2 points, which was frustrating. But the boys played rugby. And since we finished fifth, we go into the qualifier. Because we finished fifth, we can get into the qualifiers. So for the qualifier bit, we are getting into it to play the qualifiers next year. And still we are the hosts. I don't know, because my president expected much more. That view is his now. He wanted to play it badly.
Okay.
Yeah, but you see, that question has 2, 3, 4 sides of the, depending on your expectations. Again, naturally, when you host, if you know the challenges in hosting and everything around it that revolves around it, you want to play, you want to win, you want to have the easy victory come through. But it's not the case. Even if you put up 10,000 fans, like Cohen says here, which is a big problem for the opponent who is not playing at home. Those are experienced players, they can disappoint you, like Zimbabwe did to us. It came, we were cold. I think our warm-up was a bit lacking. Technically, because I'm also a coach, I think the issue started from warm-up. Zimbabwe must have warmed up and was ready for the game. By the time we woke up, there are so many points ahead for us to chase.
22-0.
Yeah, so many points ahead for us to chase. But then we bounced back and managed with Burkina Faso, and also the tough game between Senegal and Uganda, which has always been tough. But in 2014, we made them first, they beat us. 2022, we beat them by 1 point. This time we have beaten them by 3 points. It has always been a very tough contest.
After over 100 minutes.
Well, when you look at it in a different way, we entered the tournament at 37.
That's ranking.
Yeah, we are out at 34. We entered at 37. We have gone up at 34. We played 3 games, lost 1, won 2. So if you look at statistics, and you cannot blame the technical bench, because they'll say, show us where we didn't perform. We played 3, won 2, lost 1, gone up in rankings by 3 spots. If you look at the the people in Olympics, the first thing, performance indicator, is they have to break their own record. Whether he's the last in the race, but if he has done a personal best, everybody is saying you are doing very well. But he has not won the medal. Okay? So that is why I'm saying it is a bit, I can't say that the result was that entirely bad, not what I personally expected, because we know, on the other hand, I can say Zimbabwe won it, but they beat us by only 2 points. So that is already, there's no excuse. It means we were capable of what? Of winning it, because the person who won it only beat us by 2 points. Now, those are the things I was saying. All those small things are put together, and we sit down and strategize and say, how do we play the next one, which is the actual World Cup qualifier now, given the challenges we've seen in this one. But sometimes it's also good to lose at a certain point than at the final point. To work on your,
it gives you a chance to go
work
back
on
to
your
the drawing board.
Exactly. Now imagine this was a qualifier. The discussion here would be different.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or imagine we had won this one. The discussion would be different. It would enter the minds of whoever is in charge that we are ready. And then the other guys go back, and for them they work, they find something different. So there's an advantage, which I don't think I should be talking here on the air. But there's an advantage in the poor performance. That it gives you a psychological edge over the other person who has won. You might think that
you always want to work for them.
Yes. Yeah, so generally for me, the technical is there, but the brand of the game is there. We didn't win, we didn't lose, we're number 5. It's a round robin kind of thing. We are going to qualify. But the brand won so much. The brand won so much, not only for Uganda, but for Africa and for World Rugby. And I'll tell you why. Number one, I think we are the first nation to host a 15th game, test game at 10 a.m. It has never happened. I can tell you, hosting a game at 10 a.m. is crazy. We also didn't know what we were going into. The security sweep had to be done at 6 a.m. That means the security stays there committee. The whole 11 days they are not sleeping. So we're the first one to do a game at 10 a.m. and have 4 games in one facility. So it takes a lot of coordination, a lot of proper keeping of time, you know, and following up on the checklist, the run sheet, to ensure that there's no issue. We came out with no incident, seriously, as in no injury, serious injury or something. Safety was taken care of. So the brand of rugby won worldwide. In the region, the brand won because it was the first time we are hosting Africa Cup in the region. You know, our brothers Kenya have hosted under 20 World Cup, but Africa Cup is
first
the highest
time in the region.
It's the highest rugby in Africa. It's the first time in our region, in Central Africa. It has happened in, it has been hosted in, the last one was in France, which was also very controversial. How do we have Africa Cup in France? That was in 2022. It was in France. It has been hosted in Madagascar before. I think Namibia.
South Africa?
No. South Africa for the women. So it was also record breaking, and the fact that we are now using the new facility, something I commend our Honorable Minister and his team of National Council of understanding the sport of rugby and accepting that it should be treated fairly and can use these facilities. They gave us a facility which World Rugby passed with high flying colors in terms of capacity. Turf was so good. So we've done a good job, and it was the first time all our fans are actually experiencing a test game in Namboole. Not only one, we had 12 games out of in 11 days. It was pure action. So for me, that one is a very, very big win. You cannot only want to win on a pitch, you have to win everything inside the pitch. So in terms of organization, the facility, the technical management of the game, I think you look at the scoreboard, we are in 90s plus.
What happened? What happened to the other fixtures that were played in Wankulukoko?
No, they were not played. We cancelled that
And brought them back to Namboole.
and brought them back to Namboole. Idea was between Saturday and Sunday, Saturday and Wednesday was so little time to get the stadium ready.
Okay.
Because of resource issues, we needed to have made the stadium ready alongside. Same time we were making Namboole ready. So that both stadiums are ready at the same time. So it was some kind of oversight that we concentrated much on making Namboole ready and didn't give up enough time. So by the time Saturday game is done, people rest a bit. Sunday, Monday is the only day you have. Tuesday is captain's run. Game start on Tuesday. The teams do captain's run at the same time they are going to play. So the whole day is basically gone. And then Wednesday's game day. So it was going to be a little bit disorganized. We go there. But that is also a lesson learned. And we've already embarked on a program with Uganda Kingdom through our principal surgery trustee to ensure we make it ready for
any other game
next year.
Okay.
Actually, this weekend we have games there. Coronation Sevens, just to Kabaka's 31 years, 31st anniversary. So we have a tournament set up that is going to be in Wankuku based on that year.
Well, President, I understand your perspective on the team's performance, but aren't there voices behind, say from the fans, about the 15's rugby performance? You yourself said you're satisfied with the team's performance, but perhaps there could be someone out there. Okay. Yeah, government, at least this should have been done. This should have been, that maybe the management lacked this or the technical team didn't do this well.
I could answer you that. Yeah. Just like anyone will shout on pitch, 10 hug out, 10 hug out. Before people were saying, Ateta out. But when you go follow up from the president's perspective of view, I think he's seeing there is something moving on. When the team is revolving, this all has to happen because the fans become passionate. Every fan wants a win. That is it. Any loss will not make any fan happy. So because we all want a win, you may hear that in the stands. This one out. Because all we want is a win. When a coach wins, you not hear anyone out. When you lose a game, however, even if you're winning 80 games and you lose 3, people say these 3 were important for us to win. So, with the way the team is going and the progress, the president still has a lot of faith in his technical team.
So, I will say that we had a similar thing in 2021 in Dubai and Cape Town. We lost all the games on the 7th team. And I remember the minister asking me, what is happening? We need to get another coach. I told the minister, no. We have 7 new players on that team. Because before that, 2022 actually, he had seen the team playing very well in South Africa, Cape Town, World Cup. But in Dubai, we were being beaten. I told him...
So he thought something was wrong.
I told him we have 7 new players
on the team.
This tournament is not a World Cup qualifier. It's not a World Cup. It's a series tests. This is the only way. And we have Olympic qualifier. We can test these new what?
Players.
Now that is information that not the whole world might know. And when the fan is emotional and bring out his feelings, you also need to be able to, if you have a chance to explain or manage to ignore it without having any issues, no emotional feelings, because they don't want to know what happens in the background. So similarly, if it was just a tragedy for winning, on Saturday, Africa Cup, we had all our 7 players in the stands in the VVIP. There was only one player on the pitch, Alex Atulinda. If you watch all those games, any try scored against us was through the back line. So if we had placed all our 7 players in the back line, I don't think any team would beat us. But where would it take us? Because next year, in the qualifier, the 7s might be playing Challenger Series and you don't have them. And you do not test these young boys now. They will have no experience. It will be disaster. So something is happening in the background that cannot, you are not at liberty to explain fully unless you are in an environment you feel that, yes, this is a chance like I have now. And I said earlier, this year's main target was remaining in the qualification campaign, which we have remained there. Okay? The 8 teams, the last 8, Burkina Faso has been relegated So the winner in Group B is coming up to make the 8th team. So our target number 1 is to ensure we remain in the what? In the group. The performance also matters because it gives you a fairly easier fixture to start with in terms of ranking. That's maybe where I consider is an issue. But I personally, I believe with the tests that we have done from Victoria Cup, if you remember, Victoria Cup last year was a revival of the 15s action. From Victoria Cup, Elgon Cup, they now went for training and have come into the big one, Africa Cup. I think for me, I am seeing a bigger unit in the making. Yeah.
No, I'm just summarizing what the president is saying. The improvement with our both teams is there and it is huge. It is massive. It just if government will put in more backing with finances, finances improve the game. More funding, more sponsors coming on board. Like now, Special is doing. Just imagine Airtel or MTN came on board. Just imagine all these big banks coming on board. Rugby would be something different. That's my point of view. That right now, what is stalling this game could be finance. Financing the 15s is not easy. It could be easier with the 7, but financing the 15s, you have a delegation of over 30 people, 40 people working, training. So it's not as easy as we think it is. The game needs more finance. That's my point of view.
President, before we came to the studios here, tubadde connect chat where I posed the question, rugby is the fastest growing game. I think that's on record in Uganda. We have had football, but balina issues zaabwe nti on a Saturday or on a normal day, a normal week's day, rugby ne bwabanga azannyibwa, you will go to Chadondo and the park is full. You will go to Legends, people are there cheering up their club. You go to Kings Park. What is the secret?
I don't know what is the secret, but I think you're trying to compare with the football.
Yeah, with other games, say football.
Wicket. So I think for me the nature of rugby, contact sport. It is not a game any Tom, Dick and Harry is just going to start playing. So majority, I should say 90% or 95% have a backing from their parents or guardians. That in a way for me is could be a trick. And we have intentionally something we call Get Into Rugby. The Get Into Rugby project from World Rugby is targeting so many people touching the ball, but the real target is the person who influences that person. So they are saying if one kid touches the ball, 2 or 3 people
have influenced.
Because your son of 5 years touches this ball, you and the mother and maybe the bigger brother are going to be interested to know what is this boy doing.
What is he playing?
So that is the number one rugby is interested in. You know? So when you see 90% of the kids playing rugby in Uganda, let's say there are 1,000 children playing rugby. If you take 2, it will mean you have 2,000 guardians or parents that have to be there because they know the game, first of all, is not for the faint-hearted. So you can't send your son to play rugby at 9 years and you stay home looking after your visitors. You have to follow and see.
So what you're saying that the numbers are growing because of that contact.
Yes.
Now, if you're siding with 15s, and you already have 30 people on the pitch, how many?
Either relatives or
relatives, friends, everyone come and watch.
Yeah.
Which is different with football.
So that's how we've started getting the traction of consistent fans. There is having one game and you have 30,000 people, but you do not know who are they. How do you keep them coming? There is that consistent fan base of rugby that has people connected to the actual player. Yeah. 2, which is secondary, is the fan experience. We say rugby as an event, as a lifestyle. You get it? So you find people are coming there because they are interested in eating the meat around, drinking the beer, and listening to the good music and the good vibes. You know, Rugby is one place where even if it's your first time, you find a seat here with 5 people, you join it, and nobody will chase you away, and you'll have a discussion.
And you enjoy. Next, you have their contacts, and you're calling them. Where is the next rugby game?
Eh, okay. I think that brings us now to the sponsorship. Having Nile on board, I think, did not come that cheap, but you have kept them since the time they came on board. What exactly did they do? I mean, did you do to them? Are you giving them something back? Are you, you know, how have you kept them on board for all this long?
I think if we were not getting something back, they wouldn't be here.
Yeah, they're getting the results.
Yeah. So
we
secondly is now special to us is not a sponsor. It's a partner. So we shift away from looking for sponsors to looking for partners. What does a partner do? A partner understands your growth pattern, understands your strategic plan and vision. And then they place themselves in a way that they support it. And it is long term. Because a strategic plan or a vision is long term. If you get a sponsor will want Africa Cup and they go away. A strategic partner will want to know, how do you win Africa Cup? What do we need to do? And the story starts earlier. So when you look at the partnership we have with Now Special, it has grown over the years. Because they are involved in our strategic plan. We are involved in their KPIs as well, to know that this kind of tournament run like this, we share ideas. You will be able to achieve your KPI, and we shall be able to prepare our team for next year. For this tournament, they are aware. We do not look at just the event, how the normal person has taken sponsorship these days. I have an event, come and sponsor. No. We sit in boardrooms and strategize with them and find which is the actual brand which has now been Nile. Yeah, without revealing so many secrets. They have KPIs which Rugby has been meeting up. And in the same way, we also get funding to actually look after our teams. As a partner, they are also happy when you win, because the mileage becomes massive.
Yes, they're getting results.
You know, they're getting results.
So that these boys move with the team with Nile Special as a brand across the globe. So you expect them also. People are in other countries now asking for Nile Special because of the winning Uganda.
More about the vibe.
The other thing is transparency and credibility. There is no sponsor going to give you 2 billion or partner if they do not trust in your system. They don't trust that you have right structures that can consume that amount properly. So I guess that without saying much, minus when you hear many people just talking without any knowledge on social media. That would be the easiest fundamental question they would ask themselves. If you have worked in the corporate Uganda world, you signing a 2 billion deal to give to an entity, there's a lot of background check you do. You cannot. Just even in procurement, you know how long it can take you to get a contract of 500 million.
Sure.
It takes you 18 months minimum. So how does someone just sign 2 billion to waste him? So people need to ask themselves that question. There is something we have built in rugby that actually attracts the big boys to comfortably place their money there. They know the money will be used in the right way. So that one is also very key to answer your question on how we have managed to stay with these people for a long time. Yeah.
This is your second term as president?
Yes.
What could be your future plans for development and growth of rugby in the country?
I think for me, I will have done my part as an individual, but because rugby is a passion, I'll find a way of continuing to support it. In our structures, once you're president and done, you become automatically a patron. The patrons are trying to organize an association. where they can support the existing leadership, you know. So you can make yourself useful there. If you have bigger plans, you can be like our big brother Mulindo. You also maybe set up a facility depending on your capacity. But at the end of the day, a sport, you can never leave the sport. Even if you retire, you from active leadership, you continue to support people on the side and structures. Yeah.
So ask me for one last word.
No, you you compliment on the president.
Whatever the president is saying, actually, and in my view, he should make a Godwin Sports Academy. He should do a sports academy for rugby, and he has the capacity.
So we have talked a lot of national rugby. Let's get down to club rugby. How is rugby being played at club level?
Club rugby is actually moving at a faster speed. Actually, it is the first time, also second time, the league is being sponsored, and each club is getting at least something. Clubs are not struggling so much, so they are getting something. The union is paying them, which FIFA has failed. But imagine rugby paying each club. FIFA is giving these clubs 5 million. Rugby is giving over, way and above. So because the rugby needs more sponsors. If there are more sponsors, even these clubs will be. When you have a strong league at home, the league feeds the national team, which means you'll have a very strong team. When the local league is weak, don't expect to have a strong national team. That is just logic. Because we don't have very many rugby exports. We're having like 2-3. But if the local league is strong, it's almost...
That's Philip Wakuracha and...
Yeah, Philip is in France. And we're having another set of Byron. There is a set that's going to South Africa. So you expect them also to play and come and support the team. So rugby is at its best, generally.
Okay, President, the problem with our brothers and sisters from the other sporting disciplines is keeping their sport here in Kampala and around. Do you have plans, or are you already doing it, decentralizing the game so that you spread it to the entire country?
Yeah, we already embarked on that, at least for the last couple of years. And if you look at our structure, we replicated the union into the regions. So we have northern, eastern, western, central, four regional associations which have an exact replica of the structure at Uganda Rugby Union. They are the bosses of the regional rugby. So we work with them to improve rugby, develop it in the regions. But over and above that, I think you've heard us taking rugby in different places. I think we are one sport that has taken the main league to all corners of Uganda. Because even my brothers of football haven't done that. The drum. The drum. But
which does not also cause impact on the game.
There's a tournament in Arua, Villa, because they are league actually for them. They say Villa, Express, KCA, whatever, they are all going to Arua. But their code of the game doesn't allow them to do that. It will be very big and expensive. But rugby has gone. The sevens code, we've gone as far as Kabale, Fort Poto, Arua, Soroti, Tororo, Gulu, Lira, Masaka, Balara, where we take the top flight teams, spend 2 nights, play 2-day rugby with the teams in the region. Which has, we've seen some regions like the Eastern coming up to be champions. Clubs from the Eastern. We had Gulu the other time joining the main league. The new teams from Arua, because we went there, Soroti Rangers. So yes, we are trying to spread. That is at the level of clubs. But also at the level of schools, we are strategizing with the Uganda Secondary School Sports Association for Ministry, because it has a reach to all the schools. Remember, rugby is now in the curriculum of education. Before it was not. So it is accepted sport in physical education, PE, which they study in schools. We had to work with them to devise the means, parameters, and the TORs of the sport in the curriculum. The curriculum, basically. That has helped us see many more schools join rugby. The initiatives we do as a union, to try source for balls and take them around. The training of referees, coaches, and medical. Because our medical is unique. Even if you're a doctor, we have specific courses you need to do to be able to work on a rugby injury or first aid. Which is called FAIR. Now all that is going out there. We only have one issue. Our publicity mechanism is not yet developed. We do a lot of things, but very few are communicated. And we pride ourselves in those few which are not communicated, because those are the ones. If you're telling you've done courses to train all sports tutors, level 1 coaching at least, and level 1 referee to help schools. All school nurses, FAIR course, that is for the first aid in rugby, which is key, that even if you're a medical doctor, you need to learn it in order to know this is how a rugby injury happens and how you fix it quickly.
They have some of the balls, over 1,000.
Those are in terms of development, because then you cannot keep winning Africa Cup without that base.
You must have the young room.
See,
Mushrooms.
Rugby is a whole big concept, from playing the game itself, managing it, to being a ref. Why am I saying this? Is that some time back there were concerns with the level of refereeing. Have you sorted it now?
it can't be sorted fully. Even at a World Cup there is an issue. As long as anyone is losing, they have to complain about a ref.
So the level of refereeing we are talking about.
Or the refereeing, we take them for courses, they do refresher, there is a referee council. It's technical. You know, you might watch, I think I said this on TV below, a ref do the game. There's always what they call an assessor or the ref coach. Within the crowd, people don't know where that person is, who it is. They come up with a marking. Why I'm saying it's technical, the crowd might have seen the ref has been bad because maybe they are supporting Pirates. They will definitely see one come, knock on or what. But then the assessor comes up and says this ref has scored 90%. But the 10% he has failed is probably what changed the game. Hence the noise. Now it becomes tricky. How do you castigate that ref who has scored 90%? Generally. But the 10% is where the game has gone AY. You see how tricky it can be. Very tricky. The only solution to that is also long term. Strategic recruiting of refs. You know, in the past we used to have a boy who has failed to play rugby because he's challenged physically, not like the rest. He decides to go for reffing. You know, more like I should say, the failures were the ones who decided to go. But
reffing.
Yeah, now it has to be very intentional. You can actually go to recruit the brightest sportsman, and to say, now for you, let's go for reffing. This is your trajectory. You want to be up to an international ref. So recruitment is very key. That's where we were going wrong in the beginning. You just do a referee course. We've done many, but anyone comes, there's no vetting. So we have to start vetting. Who are you who wants to do the course? Because they are free. We facilitate them as union. The students don't pay for them. They are free courses. But we need to vet. Who are you? What is your strength? You know, we need to also have, who are we looking for? Eventually that issue will reduce. I will be lying to you that there is something we can do now to make the ref better tomorrow. That is a total lie. I have to be very realistic.
We have a big world event that's ongoing in France, Paris. You, our brothers in rugby sevens did not qualify. What went wrong? What did not happen?
I think we missed out the actual easier qualification in Zimbabwe last year. And again, it is something to do with the mental. It's an issue that we really need to work on. I don't know how far this TV of yours goes, but some things I don't say because some of my opposition...
It goes as far, as big as the world.
Because some of my competition might be watching and say, but the easiest way to qualify for Olympics was winning Africa Cup last year, which we didn't.
Oh.
We were beaten by Zimbabwe today and put us in a different trajectory. Tomorrow we beat Zimbabwe in the quarters. And then we had to meet South Africa in the semi-finals, which was tough. Had we not slept on Zimbabwe, we would not meet South Africa at semi. We would have met something like Kenya. You get it? Psychologically. Now that is the first time our players were meeting South Africa after a long time. So their mindset was, so we missed that opportunity to win, to qualify is based on the Africa Cup. If you're the second runner-up, you go to repechage. The repechage is tough because you're meeting the runner-up in
the other regions, yes.
Who are tough, you know?
And they all want to win.
And they're taking one person as well.
One person. That's
and that repechage was tough because they had to play in Dubai, Uruguay, Munich, and take the top 4 to play in the repechage in Monaco. So you have to first play 3 different tournaments, a lot of work before you even get to
the real qualifier,
the challenger. You get it. So that was our biggest downfall, because if you look at 2018 when we won the Africa Cup to now, we've won it 4 times. So we are surely a powerhouse in sevens, but if psychologically we do not prepare and make those small mistakes where we lose where we could have won, same thing I tell you now. Anyone will ask themselves, Zimbabwe won seamlessly but struggled against Uganda completely. It was a game of 2 halves. What I said earlier.
So the final game?
What I said earlier. And that is something that is a responsibility for all of us, not me, the president alone. We are open to ideas. That's why we are talking to Bulls, we are talking to Stellenbosch, we are looking at people. We are looking for support on how technically we can thrive. We are no longer doubting our ability. We now need to know scientifically, technically, how do we turn this into a culture of successful winning. You attempt to go to the Olympics, and we have never gone there by now. For sevens, Olympics. This is going to be the 3rd attempt. Now this is done, 2013. This is the 3rd attempt, but surely we should be there seamlessly in the next one. Yeah.
Okay, as we end the program, as a fan, a very good fan of the game, I think you will talk on behalf of the fans out there.
I'll just congratulate the president, Mr. Goodwin, on a very well organized Africa event. Actually, even many countries are going to come and benchmark him. A very big event, well organized, over 2 weeks of magnificent rugby. Everything went as per. Actually, it went overboard for us, the fans. The fan experience, the fan parks, everything was the security. Thank you, Mr. Godwin. At least people have now more confidence to come to watch the game of rugby because of his able leadership. That is it.
Yes, President, that is all done. It's hard, you said it, but then what next for the game?
What next is continue the struggle. As it is, we have not reached the top. We need to be African champions. We need to be World Cup competitors. And when you look at that as the target, then you have to work backwards. For you to be Africa champions, you need to have funding. For you to have funding, you need to be popular. For you to be popular, you need to have good competitions. For you to have good competitions, you need to invest in the grassroots. In a nutshell, that is what has to happen. I've started from the target and broken it down to the rest.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. It's been a wonderful show.
Okay, thank you.
But then President wa Rugby, Bwana Godwin Kayangwe, nembera n'omukulu wano Andrew Cohen, mwana w'omwami, a very good friend of Yaya. Webala okuleeta president. No, the president bali tojjanga ko wano. Ne ku TV, this is your very first time to appear?
TV is my first time. I'm not very good with TVs.
Okay.
Yeah. But now since he brought me and it was Yaya, my friend Stanley, I said that one I'll come.
Okay, sorry, this was the very first media interview after the tournament. I think we can brag. No,
you can. Coronation Cup baje bawagire wa Uganda wafe wano.
That's where
amanyo byogere bulungi.
Kurumukaga Coronation Cup in Wankuluku. Everyone should come. Aisa basajja kabaka wangale.
Amina nenabagerekera Uganda. Tuchobe tubadde program etambudde mwebale okubeerako okuva gye twatandikidde paka saawa ena. Atakumira mpeera abatukumire. Mweraba.